Start streaming. Apparently we are doing something. Okay, you have to turn that down. Hello, hello, hello. Somewhere people should be able to see us. And here is the chat. This is the new YouTube beta something, and it sucks. It sucks so hard. We can't find anything. Yeah, Alex, shut your trap. Waiting 2 minutes already. Many people have been waiting. Alex has been waiting for 2 minutes.
Okay.
So let me know if you people can see me.
Yeah,
and
if we can get some feedback.
And hear us. And all those things.
Just.
We can see and hear you. Thank you, Ben.
Okay, so. All right, great.
Okay, so
hello, everybody.
Here. We have coffee. Do you guys have coffee?
Yeah. I would like to start to say hello to my kids because they're actually watching. Hello, Adam. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Patricia.
Hello, Adam, Lisa. Why are you watching this? This is about power supplies. He's gonna gnaw your ear off at home about power supplies.
Yeah, but Adam actually knows quite a bit about them. It's quite funny. He can actually write the whole product pipeline. Some stuff you don't know. Our customers don't.
Why are you so short?
Because you gave me this short chair.
Get that up there.
It's because here we go.
That's more realistic, yes. Yeah. So I have literally Rick has beer. I have literally nothing to contribute to this video because I know power supplies in terms of.
You come with all the funny remarks.
It says milliamps, and then I look on my pedal and it says okay, and I plug it in, and that's all I have. And I learned things today about switching and non-switching, direct some things. I don't know. Paul knows things and I don't know. I have no idea. So the point is, you now have to ask him about pedals and power supplies, and if not, he's going to go on about his new DC7, which of course is awesome unless he will show by, yeah, well, there you go. Do we even? No, I don't even need the big screen.
Are they able to see the DC7?
Because this is delayed.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, there's a delay.
It's the internet, Paul.
Okay, all right.
The internet is delayed.
Okay.
So nice hair and beard. That's not about power supplies.
Yeah, it's grown a little bit. I can't see that. You've got glasses. I can't see that far. So you have to read the question.
I love my Cioks schizophrenic link. Thank you, Paul. Also, I found out they're made in Poland. That is true.
Yeah, that's correct. We have a factory in Poland. Actually, I'm Polish. So both my mom and dad, they are from Poland. But I used to live in Denmark 25 years. This is where the company was founded. And 15 years ago, I founded a sister company in Poland where all this stuff is manufactured. And the last couple of years, we became more Danish because we employed a Danish engineer, a super expert in switching power supplies, and he's based in Denmark. And he has designed our DC7 and most of the new technology we will use for the future power generation.
You didn't say that in the video we made. There's news in this one.
Yeah,
I'm learning things.
We should distribute the news towards more clips, or more videos.
Good point. I'm gonna go read some things here. First of all, Quentin.
They send you love. I can see that because it's caps locked. But
well, that's
Quentin to me as well.
Quentin says love you, Henning, and he also says kissy kissy, but that's what he says to his bird. Say hi to Sylvester. And then we have Michiel saying, "What? Leo is here. Leo, what power supply do you use? Leo, do you even use pedals? And when you do you use power supplies?" Leo might have thought this is about power metal. Who knows? Leo, what do you think? Thanks for, coming. Notre Dame is on fire. I know, we just saw that. Does anyone know why Notre Dame is on fire? Or it's actually Le Notre Dame.
They probably use some other brand power supply and then Cioks.
Michiel just said somewhere that he's got a newfound respect for Leslie switching because he did it this morning before he went back to Belgium. And without trying to step on his toes, we fucked up a couple times because it's not easy. And then the pedal wasn't placed where it wasn't supposed to be. So Leslie is doing a phenomenal job. She switched a 90-minute power supply information video this afternoon and survived. Let's go a couple of things. Now everyone's saying hi to Leo, of course, because Leo's amazing. Okay, I'm getting Adam and link them together. Well, go right ahead. Okay, I can't figure out how much my MON GC8 Live and my Moore Ocean Machine need as far as milliamp.
Okay.
And is there a power supply that can power both along with my other small milliamp pedals? I'm 100% sure there is, because I'm pretty sure that the MON GEC8 Live and that probably has less than 200, a maximum of 300 milliamp.
Well, you can actually go and measure it. And I'll fetch a cable.
See, I can't. I don't know if I still have the GC8 Live.
Some people are actually asking about this. This is a multimeter where you can measure stuff with it. You can measure voltage, you can measure current. And we make an extension cable where you can add another 50 centimeters to any flex cable. And usually it looks like this. But what you can do, you can cut the wire in the middle and put 2 banana plugs in this. And then you use a milliamp meter connected to the amp and there. So, no, this is wrong. Here we go. Yeah. So this one goes to the power supply and the voltage you need for the pedal. And there you plug in your flex cable. And then you can get a correct reading of what the pedal is drawing. This is the...
But you see, you're saying you can do this. And I'm telling you I couldn't.
Okay, then you can go and buy the DC10 link, which we don't have here. But it's actually the last channel. It's a 10 isolated channels you get in the DC10 link. And the last channel is adjustable from 9 to 24 volts. But it's got a milliamp meter on it. So you can plug in a pedal and get a reading how much current draws.
Why doesn't
you don't have to mess around with cables.
Why doesn't every power supply have that? Why doesn't the DC7 have that? Let me ask you that.
Okay, because then we wouldn't be able to stuff that in. And maybe because all the outlets are the same rating. And for the older linear power supplies, it made sense to measure the actual current draw. Because if you had a pedal that drew 250 milliamps, well, the 100 milliamp channels were too small for that. 200 milliamp channels was too small for that, so you'd have to go to a 400 milliamp outlet to power that pedal. But if all the outlets have the same power capability, it doesn't really matter. Also
with a DC7.
Well, with the DC7, you just if it's a 9-volt pedal, you plug it into one outlet, and if it says if the indicator, the LED indicator is on, it means that you don't overload the channel and everything is good, and the current draw of the pedal is below 660. Now you're pointing at the global power meter. This is showing the global load of the whole thing. So if you go and power a pedal of a single outlet and this one stays on, it means you're okay. If it turns off, well, you need 2 outlets to power a pedal, and I don't think there are any pedals on the market drawing more than 1.3 amps.
The Ocean Machine most certainly doesn't have more than 660 milliamps. I'm gonna go. It probably has less than 300 that it needs. It's a digital pedal, but it's not. I don't think it draws more than a Strymon. And the GEC8 Live, I would go and say a maximum of 300.
But is it a clone of the Boss ES8 or?
No.
It's not.
No. I'm pretty sure it's got less power. And the Boss ES8 can be run with 300.
Okay.
Or less.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
But it's still a switcher.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can definitely, if you get the DC7, which really what this video is about, buy the DC7. I mean, he's not going to tell you that, but I'm telling you that. 660 milliamps on each outlet. And have you seen how freaking thin that is? He said to her, not bragging, but apologizing. I mean, so this has ridiculous amounts of power. Let's see. What's up, everyone? Well, we can't tell you, actually. Nothing's up right here.
Fluke rules, yeah. This is a fluke.
Fluke? Ah, I have a multimeter, but I wouldn't tell you what to set that to. And I would, I literally have no idea about this stuff.
And we shouldn't. I mean, guitar players, they should just stick to the guitar and not mess around with electronics. But it was just to tell you that I got a couple of questions on a support mail how to make this cable, and this is pretty easy. This is the extension flex cable.
Sell it.
Yeah.
Sell that. Make it, sell it.
$5 a year?
But how many questions do you get about how many milliamps does this thing have? And this thing, and this
quite
thing?
Many. But fortunately, I used to answer all the emails on support. Now I get help,
But the point is, if there was an easy way to actually find out, like a display, or actually, how realistically, if you made a box only like this, with a milliamp
Cioks
reading,
made that actually.
How much was that?
I don't know, $49.
Why don't you make a box like that for $49?
Well, we could do that.
Because
we rather make some power supplies.
I would buy it. Some of those people, anyone with a bigger board would buy it. Any roadie would buy it.
We have it built in the DC-10, but yes, okay, got the point. I have one for you next time we see.
Now we're talking. I don't care if you guys get one, as long as I get one. So see, guitar dit? What? I'm like, why is Amanda writing guitar tit? But it's not guitar tit. It's guitar dit. Michiel, don't listen to Michiel. He's just been on the road for 4 hours. He doesn't know.
Okay, that's a good question.
Where?
Why do analog pedals need lower milliamps? Never understood what determines how much milliamp pedal would draw. I mean, if you take a very old wah pedal or a fuzz pedal, it consists of only maybe 4 or 5 transistors. Not much stuff going on there, and that means that this pedal will draw very little current. And you have pedals that draw maybe 1 milliamp. There are even those which draw even less than 1 milliamp. Oh. And in the old days, where Boss pedals were, well, the big stuff, most of the analog pedals from Boss were, I don't know, they were all below 20 milliamps. And yeah, then you started to make digital pedals, and in the old days, I mean, processor which were not able to do much, but they still needed a lot of power, and things are getting more, I don't know, modern. So I mean, a Strymon pedal nowadays had probably a processor which is stronger than what you had in a computer in a big company 20 years ago, and draws very little current.
Probably a Strymon Deco could get you to the moon. It's probably way more powerful than what they had in the moon thing. Yeah. So computers take lots of power, and that's what digital pedal is. It's a mini computer.
But you can say that if you should put pedal in boxes, you have the analog pedals, which are pure analog, and they would probably be able to be run of a standard 100 milliamp outlet. Then you have digital pedals, and like an old DD5, I think it was 55 milliamps or 60 milliamps. Then you have Marys, is it Marys it's called? And they have like around 150. You have the smallest Strymon, they are around 200. The big Strymons are around 250. So the digital pedals, they are somewhere in between 50 and say, I don't know, 300-400 milliamps. But those pedals that really need a lot of milliamps, a lot of power, are tube pedals. And this is because you need to heat these tubes up. You need a high voltage to make them work. The real tube pedals, because you also have those which just have an LED below it so it looks like it's a
like the real ones, like like the Le Clean needs Le 12 volt. I ran this on 9 volt in a video by accident and didn't tell anyone. It still sounded good.
But it's 12 volt, 500 milliamps, so yeah.
It ran on 9 for some reason. It worked.
You probably diminished the headroom, but yeah.
Headroom.
And what's that?
What's that? Here's a couple of things. Wait, we had I was gonna say wait a little bit higher. Here we go.
E-type branded version. Yeah, love it. Using my husband. Yeah.
Ben's asking, why do most power supplies only have 8 outlets and not 12? Well, let me try to answer that. Because you need the power and the fiddly. So this, I totally understand this.
The transformer is not soldering.
The transformer
is not soldering.
So the transformer, this thing, which here is a switching transformer, not a linear transformer. Let me show you a linear transformer, okay? So this is a linear transformer. That's a toroidal transformer. And this, it's almost as if I paid attention this afternoon.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, but it's just well, I tried to make a shorter version of it, that this one is transforming the mains voltage into lower voltages. And because it's operating at the frequency of the grid, 50 hertz or 60 hertz, it needs to have a certain size to be able to convert a certain size of amount of energy. And if you do the conversion in a much higher frequency, which you do in switching power supplies, the transformer can be much smaller. So this is around like 3 times less powerful than this one. And yeah, is it possible to... Yeah, so this is a comparison.
But the point is, how powerful is it? And depending on how powerful it is, that means you can have a certain amount of outlets. Now, technically, you could probably, what's probably? On the DC7, this probably could have 20 outputs if I made them all, 100 milliamps. Probably more.
Yeah, but then
it's a matter of space.
Yeah.
And all that. But this has 7 outputs of 660. Now, certain pedals you can daisy chain, which means you can absolutely use more than 7 pedals with this. If you find the pedals that are compatible with each other, it even comes with a daisy chain cable.
Yeah.
So on one of them or 2 of them, you can use 2 or 3 or 4 pedals, but you have to find the ones that work with each other. Sometimes you have a pedal with another pedal on a daisy chain, and they simply don't like each other, and you've got feeping or humming or whatever. But to answer your question, why don't you have a power supply with more than 8 outputs?
We will.
Well, no.
Yeah, but this is, okay, we do.
Well, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, but. No, go to the pedal side, Lizzie. We got DC, switchable in voltage from 4 to 15, and DC, 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 DC. DC, voltage switchable, loads of DC, loads and loads and loads of DC, and then we got AC and AC. So 2 of them, really, you will only need for your, Razor, I have no idea. I don't know what you use AC for.
AC, a lot of 2 pedals.
2 pedals.
Hughes Kettner, Magic Stomp from Yamaha, some harmonic stuff. I think they have like 8 pedals that need 12 volt AC. So, but you're showing this one. This product is maybe, 6-year-old. So this is based on linear technology. It's got 2 donuts or toroidal transformer inside. And people are asking because we started the future power generation with the DC7. And it was like a starting point. You have to start from someplace. And I think it's a nice, very nice medium power supply in terms of number of outlets. It didn't make any sense for us to make a smaller one because we might as well use the space on the sides to make it 7 outlets. We also wanted to have the USB out. But if you want more outlets, you can expand this one with an extension unit, either the Cioks 4, which will be available very soon, and also the Cioks 8, which will be
available less soon, but also soon.
But also soon, yeah. And the question why don't we make a bigger power supply? We will, of course we will. We make power supplies. So keep an eye on us. And for now, you have the DC7, and the 4 and the 8 will be released later this year, where you have huge options to make a system or a power bank consisting of 8 plus 7. Then you have 15 outlets. That should be enough for most people, actually.
I'm trying to follow what...
what are they writing?
I'm trying to follow what Dylan is saying, from Hosa, wouldn't the big sky take you to the moon? Yes, Dylan, it would. But then he's saying, well, duh, but you need to get past it if you want to get to that big cheese circle. Something about what? Hosa, the moon is further away than the clouds, Dylan. Gosh, okay, wait. I'm following this, Dylan. Okay, so Strymon, Big Sky, and Eventide Space Reverb, just keep it off the... Are you still talking about how to get to the moon? This is not helping, Dylan. Go and sell cables. Go and... No, stay. We love you, Dylan. Dylan from Hosa is a very good guy. By the way, Dylan, I just used one of the beautiful Hosa XLR something line cables, the good one, for my brand new... Hey, let's go to the amps camera. Can you guys see this blue stick here? Look at my nice blue stick. I got a Cioks mini CMIT, which sounds so freaking ridiculously good. And that's now going into the Apollo with a Hosa... What's the most expensive line, Dylan? Super mega cables? What are they called? I don't know. But that's what I used. And that's why right now it sounds so extremely good. Does Cioks make any rechargeable battery-based power supplies? If not, will they make one? Good question,
That's a very
Cheddar.
good question.
I'm going to answer that.
Are you going to answer that?
Yes.
Why are you going to answer that?
Because I know.
Okay.
Kinda. Already. Almost ready.
Yeah.
Not built in, but if you get the 4, as I will illustrate over on the pedal cam here, right here, on the pedal side, right there. Now this is really small, and you can daisy chain that or extend the 7 with it for outputs of what, 660 each?
Sorry? 660.
660?
Yeah.
But do you see this USB-C plug right here? So you can power this, and this is, I think, pretty brilliant, with almost anything. You can probably make a potato clock and power it with that. So you can use any power, what's that called, bank. You can use a power bank, USB-C in here, and yes, this will be battery powered, but you can then, if it doesn't have an internal battery, just take the power bank, throw it away, use another one, and continue the gig. But also, apparently this pluggy thing here allows for center positive, center negative,
It's
center everything.
non-polarized, and you can use any DC voltage in between 9 and 24. So you can use the one spot to power it. You can use an existing outlet of any power supply you might have on your table.
You can use
And
AC as
if
well.
you have a spare AC outlet for a pedal you don't have anymore, you can power it with that. But to answer to complete the answer of the question, yes, when you get a power supply where the battery is built in, you sort of stick to that battery. And it might be too small or too big or too old, because batteries, they tend to get old. Also, if you consume a lot of power, one power bank might not be enough for a whole gig. And then you can have 2 batteries, so you can swap in the middle of a gig if you like. But I mean, we are not a battery company, we're a power supply company. Batteries, let somebody else make the batteries.
But I have a Segway. If I could power that with a Segway, then I can park it on the stage and then just power the pedal board for like a week.
You could, probably, yeah.
Let's interface that. Or let's not. Let me just write that thing and then... she said. Brad's just saying the fact that each is 660 milliamps isolated, parallel, able, and series stacking, great product. Brad seems to know his shit.
Yeah. And we might tell people that actually that we have this parallel adapter flex. I don't know. It's do we have it here? Yeah. Because we found that it's very, very popular now. Where's the yellow one? Did we?
I have that.
You have that. I mean, I did a video about the new Line 6 stuff, and it became very popular. Yeah. Put it there, yeah. These 2 cables, if you have a HX Stomp or HX Effects or the new part, but most of the Stomp is most popular, you need these 2 cables. And then you use 2 of the DC7 outlets and combine them into one source, and then you get the yellow cable, and then you can power the effects or the Stomp. with the DC7, and you still have 5 isolated outlets for additional pedals, and a USB out if you want it. Okay.
I'm gonna push it.
Sorry, sir. I'm trying
we have to distribute evenly over the screen.
Okay, this is my...
Yeah,
okay.
Just thing. This time it's the Polish invading the German space. See?
Yeah, we should have some Wagner going on. No, this should be some. We should have some Chopin going on and Wagner here and. No.
Dylan, the edge cable. Yeah, that's what I meant. The edge. Thank you. That's what I used.
Here it goes. Why doesn't Cioks use the standard Boss connectors? Should we take that? Yeah.
Well, why don't you use the standard Boss connectors?
Yeah, I mean, the company was founded 28 years ago, and I wanted to have my own cables. That was one of the reasons. The other reason was that I found that the RCA connectors were actually a better mechanical connector than the DC block. And yeah, and this is why we started to use them, and we stuck to that. And I'm happy about that.
Makes sense. I like that it's a very firm connection.
But also, I mean, if you take the parallel adapter, for instance, you're pretty sure that these have to go into the power supply, and this is the end to power your pedal or where you plug. So there's no way that you use it the wrong way. And we have these color codings on all the flex cables. With each power supply, you get this flex cable selection guide. And I would say this is pretty easy to use, where you can see what cable to use for what application.
Wait, let's do this. Here we go.
So
this is actually really neatly done because it tells you what you might need that for, what it can help you with. This is really, really well done. Michiel, I don't think Paul needs to tell me how to reduce my power bill. I think
we've talked about that.
Well,
we will reduce the number of adapters you have lying around, and I'm already thinking about it.
He's already thinking about. We tried this. We can actually.
Kenny's got a huge amount of cameras, interfaces, sliders, and all that stuff needs adapters. And
we can actually power one of my Blackmagic cameras with 2 outlets on the DC7. So one DC7 could power 3 of my cameras.
Yeah.
So I could definitely use Cioks power supplies to power, the stuff in here. At least the camera rigs, which would be damn cool. But there was, yes, James, I know that I heard that the Notre Dame is burning. Does anyone know why? Can we get to the news here? Can we turn this into a news thing? No. Why is Notre Dame burning? I came for the event products and just built my own using supply.
Checked any ambition to make USB supplies like mission engineering? Well, this is what we did with the 4. I mean, if you take the 5 to 9 and compare these 2 units with each other, yes, this one can be powered with USB, and unfortunately only the older B standard. So here you've got the C standard, so it can take 15 watts of power on the input. Then on this one, you have 4 outlets, which are each of them is configurable to 9, 12, 15, 18 volts. Here it's only 9 volts. And you've got only one powerful outlet, which is rated at 500 milliamps. The rest of them is 150. And on top of that, as far as I know, the 500 milliamp is not isolated from the USB, and this is what making this tough to daisy chain, I think.
I had some problems with that.
There were some problems. Here
I think it's a great box.
It is.
When you daisy chain them, the 500 one does have a problem.
Yeah, but
so that's essentially this is like a 529 in the sense.
Yeah, it is. But you get more functionality on the input. I mean, if that can be used with other types of sources apart from the USB.
Just USB.
Yeah. So if that plug wasn't there, it wouldn't have been a 5 to 9 with more options on the output because we have more voltage.
We never
options.
talked about that. How much is that going to be roughly?
I think that this is going to be like $100 in US for this as an extension unit with some cables to go with it, but with no adapter. And Yeah, in Europe, I don't know, 120, 129, something like that.
So this has
Euros.
4 times 660 and the ability to go to different voltages, whereas and can be powered with a watt something AC or DC, and runs on USB-C. So technically, this is more powerful than the 529.
It is.
Yeah.
The advantage of it, you get 5 isolated outlets. Here
This is
it's
4.
only 4. Yeah.
But I can absolutely daisy chain stuff on this.
Yes, you can.
Pedals. I mean, it's got more than enough power to daisy chain. And 660 could run a whole freaking board if you have the right pedals on it. Yeah. And the 529, again, I like it. I use it. I've used it in certain situations where it just makes sense to throw a pedal on the floor, have a power bank, use a 529. But the 529 is 159 or 169. So this essentially can do that plus more for less money. I'm saying that. I mean, you can't say that, but I can say that. Yeah. And that's true. So, electrical fire in renovations part is suspected. Thank you, Michiel. Now we know.
I have an isolated power supply, and there's an output on it. Bunch of pedals that output. Yeah, there's a guy, Joseph Sikorski, I would say, asking if you can daisy chain of a 100 milliamp outlet as long as you don't exceed the 100 milliamps. Of course you can.
Yep.
Yes, and
with analog pedals, chances are that you can put 2 or 3 on it pretty safely.
Yeah.
Because a lot of analog pedals have, less than 20 milliamps. That means you can, technically, if you're running analog pedals, probably run a whole board of one of the outputs on this.
I didn't get that. I was reading that. I'm very bad at doing 2 things.
You read, I sell your product. How about this? With 660 milliamps, if I run analog pedals, drives, compressor, maybe even analog delay, I could probably run a board with 8 to 10 pedals off of one of the outputs.
Yeah. But I mean, you can. You remember the Volta from Pedal Train?
Yep.
I mean, and you can buy different clones of the Volta. It's basically a power bank with a converter from 5 to 9 volts. It's probably got one of these parts of inside. But the problem was that it wasn't isolated. And maybe you have 1, 2 problem pedals you'd like to isolate, and the rest could easily go on a daisy chain.
Yep.
And this is where maybe 4 channels is okay. And maybe you have a weird pedal that needs a different voltage from 9 volts, and here you have the ability to set it to 12, 15, 18. So if you have a small board where you have maybe 5 pedals, one of them needs 18 volt, the other one needs 12 volt, and then you can daisy chain something. This is ideal.
112.
Yeah, whatever.
112, 118, one pedal that creates a problem in the daisy chain, and the rest daisy chain.
Yeah.
And then you can still run your board with this. Yeah. I never had the Volta, but I had the clone from Rockboard.
Okay.
And it never really worked without creating problems. Every time I had a power supply with a built-in battery, I had feeping, I had high frequency whistling, I had not hum problems, but there was always an issue. Yeah. The problem with power supplies is, and I know you guys are with me, they're boring. Not to you, but I mean they're boring to buy because it doesn't make a sound, it doesn't tremolo, it doesn't, well, if it's really bad, it might actually tremolo. But actually, if they're really bad, they also make a sound. Yeah. But it's not a sexy product. It's not the kind of product that you buy and that you get, you're like, oh my God, let me play with it. Well, no. It's, you get it, you have to install it, which some of you might enjoy on your board, and I don't like building boards, it's annoying. But it's not a sexy product. And then spending lots of money on it isn't fun because it's not a new guitar. It's not a new delay. It doesn't improve your creativity. It's not that kind
This is what my sales manager says.
All I'm saying is, that's why a lot of you guys don't want to drop the money on a good power supply. It hurts. It's like I just bought hard drive bass. They cost me a lot of money, and it's not fun. Dropped another $200 on 8 terabyte hard drive. That's not fun stuff. I need these things to do what I do.
Yeah.
It doesn't arrive and go like, oh, do a hard drive, oh yay. No, moving data. You know? Sorry to say that, but what you do is not sexy. But what you do is super high quality so that the rest of the sexy stuff runs. So the point is, do not save the money on a power supply. Do spend the money on a good one. Because then you don't have to think about, oh, can I still put another one on there? And is it enough? It does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because I had crappy ones.
I think also the expandability is an important word to mention. If that you invest your money in something which is of good quality and also able to be expanded with time as your needs grow.
Yeah, I love that. Sorry to say that. I love that about the Strymon line, that it all kind of worked together and was expandable. And that's actually the interesting thing that Paul said in the other video, that the DC7 runs off 24 volts, and the 4 and 8 are expandable with the 24 volts, just like the Strymons. So if you, let's say, have Zuma already, and you think this is sexy, yeah, you can use that as an expander for the Zuma because it's both using 24 volts or the 8 when it comes out.
And the other way around, if you have a Zuma, the other way, if you have a DC7
and you have
an OHI, you can add another 4 outlets to the DC7 by using this one.
So it is totally compatible, which is really great. So the one...
And for the Zuma users, if they are missing another 18 volt or 15 volt, which is not available on the Zuma product, on the OHI, you can get this one and you can get the 15 volt. So...
Yep. That makes total sense. There's a couple of good questions.
Okay.
I'm going to go to a comment first. Dylan says he doesn't know what we're talking about when discussing boring products. Says the guy who works for the company selling cables. I mean, okay, talk about one step even more boring than power supplies. You know? Cables.
We at least have light in our
But the same thing that applies to this applies to cables. You never enjoy spending a shit ton of money on a good cable, but you should.
Yeah, that's correct.
In talking about pedal boards, yeah, the pedals are the fun part, and the board itself maybe a little bit, but then power supply and cables are where you shouldn't save money, and you can drop a shit ton of money on power supply and cables, and you should. So here's a good one. Would the Cioks 4 run the HX Stomp using the battery power pack?
Yes, it will.
How long?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I would have to calculate that. But I mean, no, I won't do that at this point. On noodle soup, I'm not good at with numbers.
We had ramen. Good stuff. So the solution is make them sexy.
Yeah, I mean, I can answer. Please write me an email. I can calculate that. I mean, it depends on the size of the power bank. So, but it will work. And it's not going to be like 2 minutes. I think it's a doable setup.
Danish Viking says make them sexy. Well, you have one that could be considered.
I would go say that this is a pretty sexy power supply.
I mean, the pink one's sexier.
Yeah.
And you know what? While I have you here, I'm pretty sure Leslie's bored of Henning's cable. Michiel, shut it. Let's go somewhere else. I want to get your take on something.
Okay. Because
it has been discussed on Glenn's channel. Glenn Fricker has a big channel. You don't know because you don't watch us. The pedal from Steel Panther.
Mm-hmm.
You know the pedal from Steel Panther?
No.
You know the whole story? What rock do you live under? So, Satchel from Steel Panther, the guitar player, made a tone print.
Okay.
And with TC Electronic.
All right.
And called it the Pussy Melter. Because that fits Steel Panther. It's all,
All right.
It's 80s stuff.
Got it.
And then that tone print got pulled back because a female group of musicians said that's, it's insulting and it's offensive. And TC backed down and they took the tone print off.
Okay.
And
why couldn't they just change the name of it?
Well, they wanted to change the name, but Satchel came up with more offensive names.
Okay.
So Steel Panther went ahead and actually then had a pedal made, totally pink, called the Pussy Melter.
All right.
And that was only sold through their website, and they sold, I don't know, thousands before it even came out.
Okay.
So it was a huge campaign for them because they were clever enough to take that drama and turn it into something that they can make money with. Now, the pedal is out and it's good. The owners have the pedal, but it's not going to be made again. Now, Glenn Fricker made a video about it. And then he made another video because Reverb banned the sale of the Pussy Melter. Because this pedal was talked about and it was a little bit of a drama. But Glenn said, why in the world does Reverb ban the sale of the Pussy Melter when...
I can tell a little bit of story about our Pussy Power supply.
Because he's pointing at the Pussy Power saying the Pussy Power is still being sold on Reverb. And then there's a whole bunch of albums with the name Pussy in it. And the Pussy Melter...
But it doesn't melt the pussies, it's just powering them. That's a big difference, I guess.
And the thing is... Oh, you fucker. The thing is, Reverb wrote that back, said it's promoting violence. Reverb wrote back, it's promoting violence.
Is melting
yes.
More violent than powering something? I don't know.
Because he had in his video the Pussy Melter. Its point is how stupid.
We discontinued the Pussy Power because we had problems with some partners in US because they simply said that we are not going to do any of your stuff as long as the Pussy Power stays in your price list, as long as it stays on your website, and that's it. But
Nick West has two Pussy Powers,
and the Australians, they were like making a lot of fun of the US channels and US for you can't write in on the gear page because it'll be banned. So yeah, that's it.
But the interesting thing is, it's a double standard. You can still sell the very pink Pussy Power on Reverb. Reverb has no problem with that. But the very pink Pussy Melter, you cannot. And Glenn surmised, because all these albums with the word pussy in it are all good to be sold on Reverb vinyl. So Glenn said, then Reverb must have a problem with the word melter.
I guess so.
Because that must be the problem, apparently. It's a double standard, and it's not right, Reverb. It's stupid. Either ban everything with the word pussy and make less money, or allow people to sell the Pussy Melter, which is actually a very good pedal. Glenn is now working with the same designer of that pedal on a gate called the Cockblocker. Yeah, and Steel Panther has a delay in development, which is called... I don't know, someone write in what it's called. It's also a funny name. We'll see.
I guess we have that pussy subject covered. I mean, this is not the channel where we could talk for hours, but
I wanted to know what you think about it. You have obviously hadn't heard about it, but you have the other pink product on the market with that name, and you know what? Yeah, you can see it as offensive, but you can also see it as... Nick West said, I like it because it's empowering me.
Yeah.
You can see that as offensive. You can see it as a woman, if you want to, I have pussy power. However you want to say that, but it's... Nick didn't have a problem with it at all, and she's a very strong woman. The Poontang Boomerang. Thank you. They're gonna make a lot of money with this shit.
Pink tacos. Now we got it. Should we go back to the boring stuff?
Oh, we talked about pink tacos and big muffs.
Yeah.
But Glenn pointed that out. The pink taco, the big muff, they're all offensive in their own way. No one's got a problem with that. And once Reverb starts to take all these off, they're gonna lose money.
Yeah, probably.
The double standard is stupid. So, back to the boring stuff. Ask questions about power supplies. The thing is, you need a good one. I love the idea of the 4. Have we talked about the 8? Which will come out at some point after the 4?
Yeah, we can talk about... This is a very early prototype, so the layout from top is not fixed yet. It's definitely going to change a little bit, but it's going to have 8 isolated outlets, and it should be powered by either 24 volts, or it will have, like the 4, this non-polarized DC plug, where you can power it of anything in between 9 and 24 volts. So it's like a bigger extension than the 4. but with no USB possibility. So we found that there was no point of adding a USB input on this one if you had like 8 isolated outlets with 660 milliamps possibility on each. That would be an overkill for the battery. Maybe in 5 years when the power banks they are like 5 times more capable of.
Or put it on the Segway. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is this actually loaded up with stuff, or is it just an empty chassis?
This is from the last formal name, 2017. So this is why we changed the layout. Yeah.
But I mean, is
this is empty. This is empty dummy. And,
because I was gonna say because it's very light.
Yeah.
Did you just call me an empty dummy?
No, this one.
Okay, good then. Can you run the Cioks 8 without the DC7?
Yes, you can. I mean, if you just need an external adapter, either an external 24-volt adapter or another source which has anything in between 9 and 24-volt DC. So you can power it off of a one spot, but then you'll have a limited access to power on the outlets because the one spot is only 15 watts. So you need a powerful adapter, like a laptop adapter to power this guy. So, yeah.
But I could.
You could.
James, I'm going to answer your question. A, I don't have the Jackson Soloist AB anymore. I mean, what? I don't have that one. And I haven't played either the Rhodes or the Dave Mustaine. I literally have no idea. So I can't answer the question. Sorry.
Is there any issue placing a pedal over the power supply case? Any pedal? We talked about that today. When we have switching power supplies, a lot of people say that there is absolutely no proximity noise because it's a switching power supply. And it's partly right because they don't have these big main transformers, which are the root cause to the proximity noise, because there's a huge or rather big electromagnetic field around those transformers. In the switching power supplies, you have transformers as well, but they operate at a much higher frequency, which is...
Where did the transformer go?
It went. But we can, I mean...
Where is it?
We have...
Where'd it go? Oh, it's back here.
It's back here. Yeah. So, I mean, this operates at, I don't know, 120 kilohertz maybe, I think. So it's far beyond the audible frequency range. So you won't be able to hear that if you pick the electromagnetic field around this one with a wah or another high gain pedal. So yes, you can basically place a pedal above a switching power supply, but I mean there are a couple of components inside each switching power supply which do have mains frequency, and these are the input filter components. These are coils. But I mean, you have to take a wah and place the wah's inductor exactly above these coils to be able to pick that up. So it's practically you can place the pedal on top of a DC7 or a Zuma or a One Spot Pro and won't be able to hear anything. So what have we got?
Apparently, is it 100 people watching this? That's crazy. 100 people watching about power supplies. You guys need more to do on a Monday night, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Close up of the board, please.
Fraser, let's talk about your generator, because what I hear is that the generator is a very good power supply, but what I don't like when I see...
Is this a gig rig guy?
Yeah.
Who?
No, it's
Fraser Lundy.
Fraser bought a gig rig generator.
He bought it, yeah. Okay.
And again, I'm a big fan, and I'm a friend of Dan Steinhardt. But the thing that confuses me is that it just generates so much clutter on your board, and Dan is amazing at hiding these under his boards. But when you have the generator, you're running it to a thing that converts it to 12 or 18, or you're running it to a thing that makes it more milliamps? Are you running into a thing that...
Okay, maybe we should explain a little bit. I mean, what was a gig rig system? Maybe those guys, they don't know it. I mean, a power supply for pedals is a thing which where you need to isolate yourself from, in terms of safety, from the AC mains grid, and then you need isolated outlets. And in the old linear domain, you had a transformer where you had some primary windings and secondary windings. So in that transformer, you had both the isolation of all the channels or outlets, and also isolation from the mains. And in the new way of doing things in switch mode power supplies, you usually have one AC/DC converter, which makes a lower voltage in the Zoomers. It's 24 volts. In the MXR, we have an MXR ISO brick here. This is a similar way, actually, of doing as to the gig rig. This is the adapter for the ISO brick. The gig rig has also an adapter they call generator, but basically it's just a laptop power supply. It's just a 5 amps, 9 volt. What do you call it? Inline AC laptop adapter.
Okay.
And then you have the small boxes. There's one they call the isolator. Inside of that thing, you have 4 DC-DC converters. This is what we have. We also have 4 DC-DC converters in this one. And you have this is a little bit different because there is a 1 DC-DC converter and it's got linear regulators. But the OHI, for instance, we can open that up and yeah, you can put it on the camera there. If you look there, you have 5 DC-DC converters. The gray things
These.
you see here are transformers, where you come in with 24 volts, and then you have a DC-DC converter for each outlet. In the isolator from gig rig, you have 4 small DC-DC converters. You can buy them with this component, and then you have these. What do you call them? They call them the distributors. The distributors is just the daisy chain box. And then they have all these different voltages. It's if you like this messy stuff and you like to cut cables and strip them and stuff, that's probably something for you. But if you rather have in a box, then you should look for something. But what was the question actually? What we think about it or what?
No, he just said that's what he got, and I wanted to find out what you think about it. I mean, he said he has it on a pedal train board and put it. I mean, for me, put it underneath. But for me, it's
a rather expensive system. I know that.
Yes, that wouldn't necessarily be the thing that turns me off, but it's the fitting things on pedal boards, whether it's Velcro or whatever, is always annoying. Getting the pedals on there, annoying. And then you have one box and then even more cables to lots of little boxes. And that's what always turned me off about the system. Then again, if I watch Dan's boards, he does a great job doing it. If he folds up the board, though, and you look underneath, oh my God, I wouldn't want to do the work. So, way to go, man, for doing that.
If you look at DC7 and the generator, I mean, the generator is probably like this, right? In terms of size. And it's almost, I think it's the same power than you get from the AC/DC part of the DC7. So, and here you've got 7 isolated outlets where each one of them is configurable to 9, 12, 15, and 18. If you wanted to do that with the gig rig system, you would have, well, depending how many different voltages you need, but if you needed 12 times 2 and 18 times 2, and you'll probably end up with I don't know, 8 different small boxes.
These boards have a lot of boxes on it.
So
it's just a different way of thinking about it. And for me, I would dread building a board like that. But again, Dan makes it look so cool. So I don't know. Someone asked, am I getting that fancy schmancy neck guitar by Friedman? As far as I know, yes. They're working on it.
I think you do too few live shows. People want to interact with you about all different stuff.
Yeah, but then I have to sit here in the evening and talk to people about guitar stuff. Who wants to do
Oh,
that?
question for Cioks. How can you handle modern high current tools like Helix Stump or maybe tube preamps?
We already talked about this.
We talked about that, but you can watch a video I did. It's called How to Power HX Stump. It's on our channel. And yeah, I pretty much explain everything there. But
and also in the video that comes out in about 2 or 3 weeks that we did here.
Very shortly, if you need to power something which is more demanding than one of these outlets can handle, you need the parallel adapter flags. It's 8800, and for HX Stump, it should be terminated with a yellow flex cable.
This to make it more power, this to plug into the Helix.
Yeah, this
is to double, and then plug this in there, and that goes in the Helix.
Yeah. All right.
What I just said.
Keeley Super Amp. What about that? I just woke up.
I asked Keeley about the Super Amp, and they said they'll look into it if I can review it. That's what I know. So it's noon here in San Diego. Don't you have to work, Swan Man? Come on. No.
D7, it works great. That's good for HX Stump. You can parallel the outputs for more power, yeah. I mean, if somebody out there is having effector pedals from UK, from Phil Taylor, you also need to use 2 outlets. They both need to be set to 12 volt, and it works great. If you go to our Instagram, there is this guy powering 4 effector pedals with the DC7, and it's working quite great. So, what's up? Do you ever thought about doing a solution for pedal board amps, like the amp?
Like amp 1.
Okay.
I think they need AC and they need quite a bit of it. So I don't know if that makes sense.
About doing a solution for pedal board amps. I mean, I think he's talking about powering them. No, we haven't. But there's a question about the 22 volt options for Blackstar. Well, Blackstar, they started out as an AC pedals, and then they turned into a standard of 22 volts, which was pretty stupid, I think, because nobody had 22 volts. But we always say that you can power those pedals with 24 volts, and if you are a pussy or a chicken, you can use 21 volts and combine 9 and 12 volts. Then you're giving it 1 volt less. That's not going to hurt them. But I can assure you that 24 volt is not going to hurt those pedals either.
See, I always think whatever it says on it, that's exactly what it has to be. I don't know.
We have this 24 volt outlet, and it's mainly intended to be used with for extending it with a 4, with a high, with the 8. But you can actually also use this outlet for a pedal. So if you have a 24 volt pedal, you can power it. This is also an isolated outlet, actually.
Or a 22 volt pedal. And
or a 24 volt pedal. And we don't have this cable yet, but we'll have an adapter where you can use any flex cable with this 24 volt outlet. So.
Here's the actual question for the evening. Why didn't you wear a Gugu shirt?
A Gugu shirt? What is a Gugu?
The silly ass shirts that I wear. They're from Poland, from MrGugu.com.
Okay. Well,
so,
I don't know. I like colors. I mean, I've got a colorful. My socks are almost matching your shirt.
Oh, wait. You shouldn't have said that. See, this is the kind of shirts they do, and now you have to wear that. Come on, for the last 2 minutes, you have to wear that.
All right. I'll do that. Is it?
Thank you, Albusman.
The Gugu shirt.
Mr. Gugu.
Okay, can I ask back? Why is it called Gugu?
I don't know. They're
Gugu
Polish people. They're all weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Weird. I mean, maybe this guy is called Gugu.
No, I don't think so.
He'll probably be Guguski. Yes.
Michiel saying he can pick one from that nicely folded stack. Yes, Michiel. Because Michiel is the guy who comes in here and he folds the shirts.
Oh my God.
I just pushed that stack over, Michiel. Leslie, can you see that in the back?
This is like 100 100%
Plastic.
Plastic, yeah.
But you look so good. Come on, and that cat is just so burgerly. It's good
But
burgerlich.
it's not a vegan thing.
No, it's definitely not a vegan thing.
Oh. Okay, is that better?
What? Umberto is wearing a Mr. Gugu shirt? Please tell... What? Do I live in southern Germany? No, I do not. In the middle of Germany. Okay.
Okay.
Now you're one of us.
Hey, Paul. Low power supply and try was sometimes up to 12 volts. Cioks stable at 9 volt. Yes, if you have tried a power supply where it's at 9 volt and it had a reading of 12 to 14 volt, it probably was not a regulated power supply. So yes, they are stable at 9. Actually, the output voltage of our 9 volt outlets is around 9.2. Yeah.
So I was saying now he'll buy a Cioks power supply because he put on the sweater.
Oh,
See,
great.
this is how we sell things here. I'm gonna go and say we are Michiel. I'm sorry. Don't say fuck you, Michiel. I'll fold them up again later. So we at some point need to cut this short because usually these things last for a while. But we need to go eat because we haven't had the eat.
Yeah, there's a guy asking why have a multi-output power supply instead of having multiple one spots. Well, you can do that, but I mean, you have to have a power strip and then you have to have one power supply for each pedal. Well, if you like that,
go right ahead.
Yeah,
Why
it's
not?
it's almost like a gig rig thing where you have a lot of small boxes.
It's definitely isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More coffee.
I don't have a favorite Swedish chainsaw pedal. Animals at the end? No animals at the end. Actually, the animals are all at Leslie's place. And poor dudes is in the hospital right now. So we have one animal less right now. All of San Diego loves me? That is so cool. I might get a lot of action when coming to San Diego then. Or just with you, Mr. Swan.
From Israel.
When is the 4 coming out? See?
Yeah.
Mr. Nomad wants to know.
Yeah, this is
Greetings
probably,
to Israel, by the way.
This is probably going to be out in the beginning of June.
What do you mean probably?
Probably, because
we need guarantees. We need for sure dates down to the minute.
Yeah. I think you spoke to one of the companies. They presented a pedal at NAMM, and then you came with the question, where's it coming out? We have no idea at all.
Exactly. Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah. Yep.
So we have a little bit of an idea about this, and but I don't want to say any more precise date because it can be shorter time, it can be longer time. But I mean, it should be around beginning of June. So.
What is Dylan saying? San Diego was discovered by the Germans in 1904. I don't think so. They named it San Diego, which of course in German means a whale's vagina. No, it does not. Whale's vagina in German is eine Walvagina. There you go. Now we covered that.
Oh. Good night, my kids. My girlfriend Patricia is just... they're going to bed. So good night, Adam. Sleep tight.
Yeah,
I'll read a good night story tomorrow. Also you, Lisa. Kisses. Sleep well.
We're gonna go.
Give a hug to mommy.
That's an anchor, man.
He actually listened to this for an hour.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to listen to this for an hour.
Yeah. Okay.
Leslie had to listen to this for an hour.
Should we say 5 minutes and then we're off? So this is like the last chance of getting...
Yeah, your last questions,
okay,
come on.
Yeah, come on.
And also these sweaters are very warm.
Yeah. Is she falling asleep? No, not really. Is she still changing the camera?
Yeah, but Leslie's still on it. I don't know how she does it. Anyone? Come on.
Okay.
Animals on the t-shirt at the end. That's a good point, yeah? Paul looks like a cool dude. You pretend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
my coolness just raised with a couple of degrees with this shirt.
Absolutely. It really did.
Okay, greetings from Israel, yeah. How about going into making power supply to power multiple amp heads? Are they not powered by AC mains?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So output to emulate a
doesn't make
half
sense.
amp to battery or get a dirty sound. Okay, that's... Yeah, we might consider doing a FOSS something which is able to adjust the voltage down or impedance of the output to simulate a battery. But
do people really need that?
Yeah.
I mean,
do I need DC-10? There's this guy asking if he needs DC-10 or DC-10 link for the 24 volt. I mean, in DC-10 you have two 12 volt outlets, and the stack flex cable is included. So by combining two outlets, where you put them in series, you get 24 volt, yes. And on the DC-10 link, you get 10 isolated outlets, and the last outlet can be adjusted to 24 volt, where you get 24 volt just with one single outlet.
Mr. Viking, no, I don't do any sports. Do I look like I do sports? I used to climb, like indoor climbing. That was fun stuff. But I sit here 12 hours a day making videos for you people. So there's absolutely no time whatsoever. And the treadmill I bought for lots of money up in my living room can't be used by me because of religious reasons.
It's Natty from Six String Guitar saying hi. I think he tried several times to say hello. I just didn't know that was his real name. I'm not good. It's Ophir Isahar. Is it good? I hope I pronounced it correctly. But hello, Natty. Very good customer in Israel.
Oh.
I'm surprised what he's doing with these power supplies. Apparently, I hope he's selling them.
Well,
but very good customer. So.
And Max is here. Max does ridiculous videos about power supplies and reviews, and he will open it and measure it. And he did a wall wart video where he compared, I don't know how many wall warts did he compare?
Was it the guys compared the cables also, the patch cables?
Yes.
Yeah. The long hair guy?
Yeah. And
Who is partly, I don't know, is he Russian?
He's Russian, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait a second. He's donated $2 for liposuction because apparently I'm too fat.
$2.
You fucker! But now I have you $2.
It's just because it's the shirt.
It's the shirt. Yeah. It's the shirt. Yeah. No, it's not. I'm fat. Now I want to know who Cat Zen Music is and if I know them, him, her.
Oh, he actually donated that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So Max did 45 wall wart power supplies, and he tested it all in a hotel.
Okay.
And made a video.
Okay. What the status of? Oh, this is for you, Henning. Progress on the Synth channel promotion.
What do you mean on the Synth channel promotion? TSR happened, and it worked, and we were there, and we made it happen, and it was cool. And there's tons of videos from it. Just look for TSR 19. There's tons of videos. I didn't make any videos. I ran the whole video team. It'll take more.
Maybe we should ask a nice question to all those people watching. I don't know.
Oh, what do you mean those people don't deserve anything? Because that guy now said it takes more than $2 to get all my fat out. You people are not nice. I'm gonna cry.
Oh, come on, no, you're not gonna cry.
You're gonna make me cry.
What's the other companies about that you would consider tough competition to turn? That's good question. Who's doing tough competition to us? I mean, the brands which make good stuff, and there are a lot of power supplies being sold. So I think that everybody can get a bite of the cake. Strymon, Vodolab. What do we have? One Spot from True Tone, MXR, partly because they have this external adapter. So yeah, I think the major players at the moment is us and Strymon and True Tone and Vodolab.
What he said. Walrus? I think the Walrus ones are all
but
linear.
And they are not. I mean, they have a couple of products, but they don't. It doesn't feel like they are sort of pushing their products.
No, that's not what they're focusing on. In the beginning, they made the Phoenix and the Ethos, but they are not the new technology.
No.
They're based on
Yeah.
the linear
Why
thing.
don't you think battery USB power supplies are not so common or used? Well, I think people would like to plug into the wall and so they don't have to worry about when the battery is going to run out. But I mean, and I honestly I don't know if I had been a guitar player, I'd rather have a power supply with a cable into the wall.
I used a battery in the sense of a power bank and a 529 to run a pedal on the floor here during like
That's a good idea.
Or one or two, but no more than that. And it actually can last quite long, but not to power a full board. I wouldn't feel confident going on stage with a full board with a battery.
There is a question of the difference between DC7 and DC5. Yeah, there's a huge difference. I mean, they might look a little bit similar in terms of design. They're both black, and they're all both DC.
But if you look at the thickness here, look.
Yeah, but the form factor is similar. Okay, the weight of DC7 is like.
This is the 7. This is quite a bit lighter than the 5.
Yeah.
5
and
is
the power is like 3 times more powerful than DC7. But this is based on this is actually from the DC5, the transformer, and well, there's a huge difference in these two products. But this is actually our very popular power supply. So the DC5 is
it's
very
great.
It's very nice. I mean, if you don't need that much power that DC7 can deliver, and you can live with 5 isolated outlets, this is a great power supply. You have 18 volts out possibility, you have 12 volts on these, and you have 2 quite powerful. In the old days, these will be like considered to be quite powerful outlets.
300 milliamps a couple of years ago was
two Simons is not a problem to power those of these.
This used to be my power supply for around the room. That if I wanted to put some pedals over there, I have that in the drawer, pull it out, cables all on it, smack it on the ground, plug it in. That was my thing. And now it's going to be the DC7 because I know it can handle anything.
In terms of versatility at the moment, of course, I would like to tell a lot of good stuff about our own products, but there's nothing really that can come close to this product in terms of the size, thickness, the possibilities in terms of voltages. It's got USB. Nobody else has USB outlets. And all this monitoring. I mean, you have full control. You know what's going on. Each outlet has individual status indicator. You have a global power meter showing you the total load of this, so you know whether you're overloading. Even if you extend it with a Cioks 4 or 8, you know how much you loaded. So, well, I'm very happy with this product.
Yeah, I can tell you're very passionate about it.
So, yeah.
You're one of the 7 people in the world that can talk very, very passionately about power supplies.
Yeah. Okay, last question. What have you got? I have a question. Usually every power supply has some headroom when it comes to amperage. Of course, it's not advisable to drain more than the power is meant to, but still, how is the handle in Cioks? I mean, if we take the DC7, the question is whether there's some headroom. Yes, there is. If we promise 660, we definitely deliver 660, and you have like 10-15% of headroom. But the thing is that you know where you overload this. And this is very important because then you have the possibility of using 2 outlets if your pedal is drawing more than 660. With all the other power supplies you have on the market, if you overload an outlet, you don't really know because nobody's, apart from engineers playing guitar, measuring their pedals. So you just plug it in, oh, it's working, great. But you might be overloading an outlet. You might be just on the edge of these outlets shutting down. And here, if the LED is on, you know you're within the specifications, within the maximum ability of this outlet. And that is very important, I think.
It shows you what you're putting into it. Yeah.
It's a power good LED. Or whatever.
And then if you're actually overloading the whole thing, there's LEDs here at the bottom.
If you reach 90%, you have the green, yellow, and red is on. And then you know you're pushing it, right? But it's still the show must go on. And then at a certain point, still with some, what do you call, overhead or what did you call it? It was headroom, yeah. There's also headroom of the whole thing. At a certain point, this will turn off. you still have power for your pedals, but then you're hit like 110, 115%. And then the next step is that this thing goes into thermal shutdown, and then the show is over for you. So you should take it that far. So.
And that's it. Stop
Yes.
it now. We go eat.
Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. If you have more questions, please mail them. I don't know if you're going to publish this. Otherwise,
It will be published. YouTube will do that, so people can watch that again. Don't write to me, because I know nothing. Write to Cioks.
Yeah, support at cioks.com or on our Facebook page, and I'll happily answer the questions we didn't treat.
And don't ask me. Write to Cioks. I need to stress that. Because you're going to write to me on Facebook and email and in comments. And I don't know things. I just use them. I plug in and I go like, oh, that's nice. Shring. That's what I do. And apparently I eat because I need liposuction. Which I now can start financing with €2.
2 euros.
You fucker. It's funny though. But you fucker.
Okay, we should end with a positive, some nice words. We love you all. And,
Oh yeah, and you fucker. That's one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
It's been great.
Animals right here.
Yeah.